back to the Wildcat Podcast, Season 2, Episode 7 or 8.
That's the one we're keeping.
Yeah. I'm not doing that again. In today's podcast, we have Miss Cooprider.
Hello.
We were gonna have Mr. Moore too, but he's a day out of surgery.
Yeah.
He had
Get
surgery
well
on his
soon.
foot. He is healing wherever he is.
Yeah. I mean, I did see him earlier, but yeah, no, it's for the best. So we have Mrs. Cooprider here.
Yay.
So we're talking turkey because we're getting close to Thanksgiving.
Yay.
Turkey Day.
Turkey talk.
Yeah, and then next week we're doing the same thing with Mr. Cooprider.
Oh, yeah. All right. So we'll see.
We'll compare and contrast here.
Absolutely. That will be interesting.
So for those of you who do not know, you're not in the building every day. Mrs. Cooprider is our counselor, and she wears many hats in the building. Correct?
Oh, I try not to, but sometimes I have to. Yes, counselor and then assistant basketball coach, and fill it in the gaps where I can, what I can do, where I can help.
So how's your year going so far?
The year is going good. It is. I would dare to say it's going better than last year, simply because I know a little bit more of what I'm doing. Last year, I was new into the position. I didn't really know everything that I was supposed to be doing, or maybe how best to do it. I feel much more prepared this year and organized, and yeah, things are going well. Basketball season starts next week, so I'm excited about that.
Oh yeah, you guys this is what, Dead Week right now?
Yes.
And so yeah.
Yep,
Middle
everybody's
school's
supposed to be
first
taking
game
a little break.
Tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm running the clock for that one. So, which if we get this up on Friday, then technically middle school's game will be yesterday. And so insert hooray or we shall not talk about yesterday.
Brother.
Is your brother playing basketball?
Yeah.
Is it like, how old is your brother? We've talked about him
He's
before.
14.
14, so that would put him in what grade then?
He's 8th grade.
8th grade?
Awesome.
He just turned 14 on Veterans Day.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Nice. And also, we honor our military here as well. So, let's see. So, yeah, so we are getting close to Thanksgiving. And, last time we had you on the podcast, it was December, so we were getting close to Christmas and all
yeah.
that. So we just have Miss Cooprider here talking about all the major
I
holidays.
love the holidays.
I think what's left now, Easter.
Yeah, okay,
St.
all right.
Patrick's.
I'll prepare for that one.
April Fools.
April. Well, that's not a true blue holiday. April Fools? I don't know.
It's a holiday to me.
I mean, we don't get the day off from school on that, though.
That is
That's
true.
the perfect way to fire somebody. On April Fools, you go, April Fools, you're hired.
Oh,
You just said fired.
Hired.
You said fired.
I know, that's the perfect way to fire somebody. On April Fools, you go, hey, you're hired.
I'm so confused.
It's because they're joking.
I don't.
So you've been rehired for your own position. April Fools. Pink slip.
ooh.
Eviction notice.
Yeah.
Jury duty. Oh my god. I'm sorry. I'm recreating The Grinch Stole Christmas. I watched that last night.
Oh, yeah.
Too early for Christmas. Thanksgiving hasn't arrived yet.
No,
We're already decorating.
that's not how it goes. It goes as soon as Halloween's over, Christmas for like the next 4 years.
I'm already
Because
decorating
as soon as Halloween's over, you get like Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Well, I do love Thanksgiving, and I do love to give it its own time because I think it's super important. I do have a Thanksgiving lamp up. It doesn't have any decorations on it. It happens to look like a tree with lights on it, but there's nothing on it. There's no ornaments or anything like that. So we
Just
do have
so
a lamp.
happens
Yeah,
to look like it.
Thanksgiving lamp. But Thanksgiving is always one of my holidays, and I think it's or favorite holidays, and I think that's because I loved growing up watching the Thanksgiving Day Parade. And that's because my uncle works on Broadway in New York, and so sometimes the shows that he was on, he's a master hair wig designer and supervisor. Some of the shows that he'd be working on, they would be performing, and so he would call my mom, and she would know, you know, what to be looking for and who to be looking for, and we just kind of pretended like it was just an extra special secret into the parade itself. And so that's something that I've always loved doing as far as a tradition and watching, and that's the top of my bucket list actually, is to get there in person some days. So I hope to do that.
I don't think I've ever actually like watched the Macy's Day Parade.
I have.
Like not on TV or anything, usually because I'm asleep for most of the day. On Thanksgiving, I sleep until 1.
Oh,
until our
goodness.
family goes out to like my uncle's.
See, I think, what is it, like, I mean, like, we have streaming services everywhere nowadays, so, I mean, like, you know, I think, like, last year, because, yeah, it's one of those days, like, you know, where you don't have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning on that particular day, so I don't, and so I just ended up finding the like a rebroadcast of it on YouTube, like just a few hours later, and so just pretended like I woke up super early.
There you go.
But I love the parade as well. It's like for me, like it's because like I've always been like one of those drama people, the theater, the music, and all. Like I always love to see like, you know, okay, what are they going to do once they hit like the judging area or the main like performing area, because I think there's like 2 of them, and you have like 2 different channels broadcasting
Yes, yeah.
at 2 different parts of
They
the
do,
parade.
yeah.
And so it's just like, okay, so who are we going to see? What marching bands are going to perform? And I love the performances of it. So.
Me too.
And then the really like outlandish like floats and the balloons and all of that.
Maybe 1 year.
Snoopy's there every year, I think.
Yeah, I think
So-
so.
I don't have TV right now, so I can't watch it, which is sad.
You know, the Snoopy, Pikachu has always been the big one.
I like Pikachu.
Charlie Brown.
I don't like Charlie Brown.
So,
They had
yeah.
a Grinch one. Oh wait, never mind. That's Christmas. I'm on Christmas now.
They do sometimes. I mean, they end with Santa for sure in the parade. So-
Like I said, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas.
I mean, there's some truth to that, because what is it? Like, we've had, like, in my lifetime, it's become like, okay, Black Friday, you know, starts at like 6, 7 a.m. the Friday after. Now it starts at 6, 7 p.m. Thanksgiving.
Oh yes.
And so now Christmas has fully infiltrated Thanksgiving.
Oh, no.
And I'm like, what's next? Black Friday starts on Wednesday, so we have to eat our turkeys like in like a 5-minute sandwich now, and that's Thanksgiving. The Pilgrims did not go out and hunt a turkey for this.
Black Friday.
They did not hunt a turkey packet.
Yeah.
Just like one of those like 90-calorie turkey things
Oh.
that you can like you get in the healthy meat section at
Oh
the
my
store.
goodness, I've never heard of that.
I've never heard of that either,
Black
so.
Friday, it's not fun, especially in Walmarts, like in a town, in a city that is known for like gun shootings and everything. Like back in Dodge, I went with my aunt, and she had me by the kids aisle to get this little Minnie Mouse couch for my little cousin. Someone was trying to fight me for it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've
Wow.
heard some crazy
And
stories.
then some people got trampled on, some people got shot, some people got tased.
Oh, all right.
Never seen so many.
I went to
dogs in one
I
place.
went to one of the Black Fridays at like Walmart, and we went at like 3 a.m. because there's nothing better to do.
We went at like.
It was great because like 3 a.m. in Walmart usually is just not a good time to go on a normal day. So the crazy people were already there,
Yeah.
and then the crazier people just came out of the woods and go, let's get everything we can. They came out like the people of the woods just go, woo! It was great. I loved it.
It's more of
We didn't even buy anything. We just walked around.
Yeah.
it's more of a hassle by the electronics side.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I used to work Black Friday when I worked at the JCPenney's over in Emporia, and like this is right around the time where JCPenney's was okay, and then it started its downturn. So it's like you still had like people waiting in line at the door and all that, but for us it wasn't so much like the Black Friday deals. Well, okay, it was, but like why most people came was because I, as part of my job in the first Black Friday that I worked at JCPenney's was to hand out Mickey Mouse snow globes that were about this big.
The little free ones.
People were mad when we ran out of those.
So you can get the police barricade.
That's just where I
The
go.
riot shield, just like, I don't have any more.
So for everybody that's in the school building, we get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday off. So are there any big plans for Thanksgiving this year?
Yeah, well, so we have 3 families that we definitely try and get to. We have my dad and my brothers, and then we have Mr. Cooprider's mom and stepdad, and Mr. Cooprider's dad and stepmom. And so usually we are bouncing between all 3 of those for that long weekend. I also have basketball practice, so I don't get to Black Friday shop, Mr. Roper. But it's fine. I'm not bitter about it or anything. But the big change this year, and I'm probably going to steal his thunder, so sorry. Mr. Cooprider is getting to do one of his bucket list items, and he is going to be at the Cowboys game on Thanksgiving Day this year. So I know, he's going with some of his buddies from college, that they played football together. They all love the Cowboys, and they're headed down there Thanksgiving morning, and they'll be at the game. And then, so if you want to cut that out, if he tells you the same thing, and you want him to get his glory, because I might have just stolen his thunder, but
What do you feel like the beep?
It's okay. Just don't tell Mr. Cooprider.
I was gonna say you could, you could you could lead up to me saying that, and then you could bleep out everything I say, and then everybody could guess what the big surprise is that Mr. Cooprider's doing. But so the girls and I will just be hanging out. So I have Emma, who's 5, and Reagan, who's 3. And so we are still going to go to his dad's and his mom's, and then Saturday we'll go to my dad's, and then at my dad's we always have our Thanksgiving meal, and then we go to the Christmas tree farm afterwards and cut down our Christmas tree, which is the Saturday after Thanksgiving, Alex. So I am not intruding on Thanksgiving Day, just so you know.
I was like, I don't think I've ever actually seen an actual cut down tree.
Oh, that's all
The
I've
only
ever
trees
grown
I've
up
ever
with.
had are just the ones you buy in the store.
No,
Same. I never
always
had.
cut down our trees.
Because you don't know what could be living in the tree. too.
That's okay. They shake it.
That's the one thing that my
But if
dad
you
said.
find a bird's nest,
the
that's supposed to be good
chipmunks.
Ooh, I've never heard that before.
What about Alvin and the chipmunks are just in your tree?
Alvin, can Theodore be in my tree?
Oh, see, then what would happen is when you go to turn off the radio, you find out that it's still off and the song is still playing.
It's a ghost.
I want Theodore to be in my Christmas. Thank you.
But I am happy that I get 3 Thanksgivings because I don't tire of Thanksgiving food.
I only
So
get one.
I love it all.
And the best thing about Thanksgiving? The leftovers.
Really?
There better
See, I
be
don't do
leftover
anything
sticky.
creative with it. Lies. Last year, Mr. Cooprider, we did make a really phenomenal sandwich out of the leftover cranberry sauce and turkey, and we put stuffing in it. That was good. Yeah. Mhm.
There better be leftover stuffing this time, Mom.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving food?
I love stuffing. I can't get enough of it.
What's yours?
I love
Green bean casserole
Also,
with the
also good.
with the French fried onions right on the top.
What about you?
Cream cheese corn.
Yep.
Ooh.
Love it.
Never had that before.
It's I always thought it was just something we did in my family, and then I realized and then I learned that other people do it too.
And Brittany,
I already said mine.
what was yours? Oh, stuffing also. We gave high fives. I'm sorry, you didn't actually say it. You just gave me high fives. Sorry.
I know talk about the stuffing that they're better
Yes,
stuffing
yes,
leftover.
yes, you did say that. Yes.
Yeah.
Although
sorry.
there's not a Thanksgiving food I don't like.
There
Well,
wasn't
I don't think I
stuffing
like
last
cranberry
time, and
sauce
it
very
made me
much.
upset.
Thank you.
Fried turkey. For me, the close second has to be the fried turkey, though. Like
Smoked turkey.
oh no, like
So good.
so like a few
as
years
well.
ago. Shout out
I
to
love
my
it.
mom, Maria Clements, all the way over in Emporia. If she's watching this or not, I don't know. But I mean, she knows this exists. I've shown her like podcast episodes and live streams. But a few years ago, like over in Emporia, she just bought like this deep fryer for turkeys, and then we would just use that every single year. Just like boom, put the
Oh,
turkey
yeah.
in there, wait like I don't know how long, and then
An hour or two is what it takes.
yeah, it depends on the size of the turkey too, and then pull it out. Usually she'll have like some like spices, so we do like like put some heat into the turkey and all that. But yeah, like that's the thing. Everything else is very, very traditional for us. We just deep fry our turkey, and it's delicious. It is.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah.
I don't actually like turkey. Well, because
You're
turkey.
See, you
Blasphemy.
are the
Look,
one that is
look.
boycotting Thanksgiving, Alex.
Look,
Yeah.
turkey.
Alex.
I like turkey's usually a dry meat though.
Put gravy on it and you'll be fine.
It's I like because
Okay,
we
stop
do
criticizing
ham.
turkey.
We do ham at our house too.
I do like ham too.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Oh.
So I usually just have ham.
Yeah,
All right,
that's
all right.
that's what I love about Christmas and Thanksgiving feasts as well. Just ham, honey glazed ham.
Thanks to Raymond Blackburn, I think that's his name, back from Dodge City. He was a race car driver. He always did our turkeys or hams. And on the hams, he would do the pineapple slices on the top.
Oh,
Ooh.
fancy.
Don't like pineapple either.
Why are you excluded from that friendship? You're out of
So
friendship
what do
circle.
you do? We know that there's the cream cheese corn.
We usually get the ham, the cream cheese corn, the stuffing, and we like make our stuffing. We don't use the stuffing in a packet or whatever.
And I guess technically that's supposed to be called dressing, right?
I mean, depends.
It's stuffing if it's actually stuffed in the turkey.
Yeah.
And dressing if it's on the outside. I've
It's
never
stuffing.
understood the difference. I know.
We
I
call
know.
it stuffing.
I do too.
Stuffing, okay?
Yeah, I mean that's
I
what
was
it says on the
corrected one
box.
year about the truth.
So, yeah.
Don't, it's blue.
Yeah, see, my family, like we're, my mom and I were both Latinos, but because my dad was born here in the United States, we always went with the traditional style. And then when we had more family come in from Peru, like they were like, oh, we should add this and this, and we were mad.
Like, nope.
It's like, no, we don't change Thanksgiving.
I wonder if
Well, my brother loves pumpkin pie. That's usually his birthday cake too, is pumpkin pie. He loves it so much. And so one year I decided to make him a pumpkin pie because I thought he would appreciate that. And when he found out it wasn't store-bought from Dylan's, he was quite upset because that's the
Really?
only pumpkin pie he likes is
Really?
store-bought
We make
Dylan's
our
I was
pumpkin
gonna
pie.
say that you should do have you heard of pumpkin cheesecake?
Oh, I've made it. It's wonderful.
Delicious.
Yeah,
yes.
my aunt makes that and it's really
we
good.
make our own pies. We don't like buy them and then just put them out. We make pumpkin pie, peanut butter pie.
Yum.
My favorite. It better be made this year, I hope. If not, I'm gonna make it myself. I don't care. Chocolate pie, apple pie.
All
I had
right.
another pie, but I don't remember what it
Yeah.
was.
I guess since I work at Carriage, I'm desensitized to pie.
I saw you Friday.
I know.
You were like,
Hello.
I was like,
Hello.
see if you can feel eyes on them.
I was just like, I know somebody's staring at me. Who is it?
Turn around, it was me. Both times I was at Carriage.
So you're how can you be desensitized to Carriage Crossing pies though?
Well, because I'm going on my
There's-
over a year and a half. It's like it's November,
Today's no-
July, August, September,
So
October,
you just don't like
November.
them anymore?
It's like,
I mean, I'm asking because Mrs. Cooprider can attest to this as being a former debate and forensics coach. Like we're setting up for our debate tournament that's coming up, and there was one point I had asked for judges, and the very next question was, and this came from I think from somebody from over in Concordia or from Dodge City. Will there be pie?
Yep.
Wait, there's someone from Dodge coming?
Yes.
Yeah, Dodge City.
As far out as Dodge City, Concordia, Salina, we've got a big tournament.
like
It's
Salina.
too huge now. I'm happy that it's huge, but
Yeah.
it's big now.
I don't like Salina.
But yeah, like that was, and from what I learned last year, whenever we host an event, the prerequisite, the requirement to have a successful tournament, Carriage Crossing Pies.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because that's like
I want peanut
basically
butter.
the best pie in the region in the
Yes,
area.
peanut. I never had really
Just
good
'cause it's
pie
Carriage
until
Crossing.
I came to Carriage.
Probably the best pie in the state, really. I mean, we had League Forensics, and we brought in the pies, and I remember when I was in the hospitality room for that, and the pies were being wheeled in. So I quickly grabbed a slice, went back into this classroom, and said, "There are the pies are here." Before I even finished the statement, the entire room cleared out, and I was in the room by myself.
Can I just like take a container of a pie for myself? No, really.
My
I'm
favorite,
not joking.
my favorite pies there are the lemon cream cheese
Oh, I don't know.
and the Snicker bar cream cheese. Those are the only
Snicker
pies
bar,
that.
like the Snicker candy.
Yeah.
They have. Carriage has that pie.
Yeah.
I need to try that. I like
That sounds good.
Okay, now what do you think of their cinnamon rolls? Please tell me you like them.
We take them home all the time. Well, because they make so much, and then at the end of the night, when they don't sell them all we can get them all. And on Saturday, the pie they don't sell, we can take home.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
That's
I
awesome.
got a question about the pie because I saw it on Evan's story. When you have one person in the middle and a bunch of.
Oh yeah.
Explain that to me.
Basically, when somebody quits a carriage and they go somewhere else, they usually throw pies at them, kind of like a parting
Farewell.
gift,
Yeah.
farewell.
Just have a big old pie fight.
Well, no, they throw pies at the person who's leaving.
It's
Oh,
funny. I saw on Evan Tossman's story.
Yeah.
It was funny.
Yeah.
But I was so confused on why they were doing it. I saw it multiple times.
That's funny.
oh, I don't have anything to.
Yeah, what other place throws pies at you're leaving people?
That's just fun. I want to throw pies at someone.
They need to do that here at the school. Whenever a teacher quits, they just need to throw a pie
Yeah.
at them.
The students should do it.
Never quit.
Sorry.
You will be pied.
Well,
They will chase you down and throw pies at you.
it's okay. I know where Mr. Cooprider's mom lives. She lives down the street. I would see Mr. Cooprider's truck there sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, there they are.
Oh man,
So what was the original question?
I forgot now.
Oh, I think we just got to pies from Thanksgiving
Yeah.
food. And
Yeah, I think the original question was, "What are your plans for Thanksgiving?"
yeah.
It's okay. We're almost there.
But that's all right. We definitely got that.
So this is the
answered,
ADHD podcast.
But you know what? I mean,
Do you
like,
even
it's
know what
it's fine
ADHD
because like
means?
we've.
Yes.
I mean, because like one of the things that we've talked about a lot in this, like in this season of the podcast is like, you know, what do you think of PLT and all that? And so it's kind of nice to like, you know, have this kind of like just, you know, good episode where we have like a camaraderie and just talk
Yeah.
about like, you know,
What's
some of the
this
things that are going on.
focus? Is it like another, like a signed PLT? The focus deal that Mr. Moore started?
Yeah. So
Do,
focus.
do, 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 do.
Better answer.
Focus is just for students that are needing additional support to get their grades up. So,
Okay.
I'm
and
upset
so
they
we are
took the.
focusing on them.
I'm upset they took the quiet room.
Oh, yeah.
I like going into the quiet room.
Did you?
You could still
Yeah.
go into the
Yeah,
quiet
you can.
room.
I know, but by the time I get there, they're just all the seats are taken.
Oh, well, we're working
Poor
on
you.
trying to get more seats in there, so.
More
Yeah.
chairs
Yep.
that Miss Barterson cut the zip ties off of.
Oh yeah, because now they can recline.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Miss Barter, she clipped them off. She,
Oh
or
man.
she
So
told us that, like the
so-
first day.
So from what you like, what can you tell us? Like, just from what you hear in the hallways, like, how is PLT, you know, doing? Like, for like how successful is it, or not successful, or like, you know, somewhere the in between? I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard more positives than negatives. Students seem to like the freedom, although some of them are unsure what to do with their time, or I've even heard a few say they're a little bored because they don't have anything to work on or do. But for the most part, students have liked it. A few teachers have definitely said that they value that time, and I think there are several teachers that wish it the students would use that PLT time for what it's meant for, which is, to get some extra help and guidance and to work on some things. I know that there are a few things that we want to work out as far as just technicalities of it. And so I think that Mr. Moore and Mr. Kirkpatrick are trying to work, with the staff to do that. So
Everybody
overall,
fill out your lunch
I think it was
deals.
good. Yeah.
Like one thing that I've kind of noticed, just kind of like in these last few days, is like, you always have the students that are always ahead, and like they've either used PLT time to their advantage, or they go out and do homework at home and get themselves ahead. But then at the flip side, you'll always have the students that just won't take advantage of that time, and just feel like it's just nothing but free time, play time, and all of that. And so I'm of course not going to name names or anything like that, but I mean, well, you're not in PLT now, so
Not yet,
I
anyway.
have good grades.
so
I do think just as like time goes on and as like, because this is what first year is being done. In the next couple of years, as it gets more and more refined and more worked out, people will be able to use it better and know what to do more.
And I think our
Understand it
whole
more.
goal was to help those students learn how to manage their time and to prioritize. And when you do have that freedom, do you have the motivation within yourself, even though you want to go play and have fun, to be able to make the choice that you have to go, work on something? We want students to help learn those skills instead of us, I guess, always having to force. Although if you prove that you can't do it, then we are asking you to go to focus or things like that. So
yeah, I think the biggest lesson that every teenager learns eventually is that in order to do what you want to do, you have to go out and sometimes do the things that you don't want to do.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and that's just a part of life.
Yeah, that's true for all of us, in fact.
Yeah. I mean, I've had that lecture just this morning. Just saying, it's like, okay, you may not care about an assignment, or you may not care about like giving a speech, for instance, or you may not like it because it's a hard thing to do, but in the end, it's something that you have to do, and it's something that you definitely need to build up the skill for. But even though you don't like it, you're still gonna need to do it. You're still gonna need to learn how to do those things, and that's true for everything. In order to do the things that you want to do, you've got to do the things that you've got to do. Some of the things that you don't like to do.
Absolutely.
So. My dad once said, "Before you can play video games, son, you have to get your homework done." So that's yeah. All right, I think we have hit past the 30-minute mark, so that's usually right around the limit for us and all that. Do you have any closing remarks or anything that you want, like anything?
No, I hope everybody enjoys their time off. Sometimes the holidays can be difficult for people for different reasons, and so hopefully, I would just say lean on whatever support systems you have, and enjoy the time you do have with those people that are important to you. So
Drive safe, be safe.
Yep, absolutely.
Don't drink and drive.
Fill your
That too.
Fill out your lunch con.
I'm learning about drugs and alcohol, what they do to you, so even I already know what they do, but
The day program.
I think, what is it? I pity the fool. No, I don't remember what Mr. T said now. Hulk Hogan, drink your milk and eat your vitamins.
Very good. Well, thank you for having me in, guys.
Thank you very much for coming. And you're more than welcome to jump on board with the podcast at any time.
All
so.
right.
watch her pop her head in. Hey.
Just all of a sudden the door opens and instead of Mr. King, it's Mrs. Cooprider.
Yep.
Watch her sneak in and just stare at Mr.
Spooky.
Cooprider. That'd be funny.
All right.
Insert clip of Mr. King doing spooky.
For those of you who are awaiting the Benaya and Zane podcast, we're running through a bit of technical difficulties with it, so we'll put out the audio of it
It'll be there eventually.
Yeah, we'll get there eventually. So
Alex is working on it.
we all are working on it. So
I'm working on it.
So, anyways, next week it is Mr. Cooprider. We'll try to keep him away from this episode of the podcast. See if he says that he's not going to the Cowboys.
I just realized that I should title this Cooprider Part 1 and Cooprider Part 2.
There you go. There you go.
The Mrs. Files. And then the Missing Files. No. All right. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.
Bye.